finally back home after a long 6 months of hiking the Appalachian Trail. This is the end of through hike pack explosion. I'll go through everything that's left in my pack, the things that made it to the very end, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the failures I had also. Ended the trip with the Hyperlight Unbound 55 pack. Super cool pack. Very durable, very robust, very waterproof. I like it a lot. My Z-Packs arc haul, it blew up about halfway through, and it was easier for me to just get a new one rather than replace it, so I replaced it, and this is what I got, and I'm so glad I did. Very, very comfortable, very robust pack. So let me sit down and open it up and go through all the stuff that I was left with. I just did a weigh-in. The pack, as loaded right now this minute, is 20 pounds even. It's like 20.1 pounds. This includes the weight of my trekking poles, which I have stowed on the side, my umbrella, and a pair of batteries with my electronics. So let's get into it. Right up top, under the Y-strap, butt pad. This is like the Thermarest Z seat. Literally my number one piece of gear. It's worn kind of flat now in the middle. I use this thing multiple times a day, every day, for all kinds of stuff. So that's a keeper. The umbrella that I was on the fence about when I started, once I got into the hike, I found working with an umbrella kept me more comfortable than just rain gear. So I've converted to umbrella. I like the umbrella. I would recommend that. I got shoulder straps. I think these are the 6 Moon Design bungee straps to hold it in place while I hike. That worked out very well. Go through the outside of the pack. Wee Yeti made it the whole way. So good on you, little guy. What else do we have in here? The ground sheet for my tent. Let's see, Kurt Zitzelman at Hemlock Mountain Outdoors made this up for me to fit, custom fit to the, let's see, it was a Hyperlight Mid 1 tent I'm carrying right now. So this, thanks Kurt for making that up. I still carried the orange pack cover, orange for hunting season, which it's not right now. And then backup if I wanted to keep my stuff dry. Although the pack is fully waterproof and this isn't really necessary, I did like to keep kind of the stuff that I happen to have in there dry. Sometimes I stuffed a jacket in there or something, so this was just a little added protection. I've got a Canuck or Ceanock. This is a Vecto X. This is the 2-liter bag. I use this to filter my water towards the end. Let's see, tent stakes. I can go through these separately and show you what my stakes look like. Toilet paper. Never have too much toilet paper. Ended with the platypus filter. What did I have? I had a Catadine Be-Free that made it most of the hike. It plugged up. I ended up going to the platypus. I use this in the winter because I could close it up. It's got caps on both ends, so it's you can keep it with you and not get water dripped around. I like that. For extra water carry, I have this platypus 2-liter bag. I really like this bag. It's lightweight, easy to use, and did well for extra water carry. In the evenings, I'd end up having my water bottles full, 1.5 liters there, another 2 liters, and then I'd use this for dinner and breakfast and reset in the morning. Let's see, my outdoor research hat with the sun protection on it kept my neck from burning in the sun. It also kept the flies off my neck and bugs, so I used it more as a bug hat when I got into New Hampshire. So you'll see me hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off. It's mostly for bugs, not really for sun. I don't like wearing a hat. It makes my head hot. And then what else do we have here? Picaridin bug cream. This stuff will save your life when the bugs come out, which is almost always. So I went through quite a bit of that. And I think that's all of what's in here right now. One side I've got a 1 liter smart water bottle, and the other side I've got the 0.75 or 700 milliliter bottle with my channel sticker on it. And my poles. So these are Lecky Makalu FX carbons. They're okay. They kind of come apart like that, and they adjustable. I broke my Fison poles. I fell and snapped the top off and hit an outfitter locally. That was the lightest I could do at the time. I really liked the Fison poles. I'm kind of bummed they didn't make the whole trip without having several failures. Had no issues with those Leckys, and they were light enough. So I think I'll continue to use those. All right, what else we got on the outside? Oh, one of these Swedish dishcloth things to wipe the condensation off the inside and outside of the tent before I put it away so it doesn't stink like mold. On the other side, I've got the Garmin 67i. I carried that the whole way to generate my track, to do satellite communicating, and to navigate the waypoints that I had previously programmed. In the hip belt, I've got a little first aid kit and some stickers. And what else is in here? Oh, this is a headlamp that I found along the way. So yeah, I guess that weight includes this. I wouldn't normally carry this. I just happen to have it. And let's see, we've got fingernail clippers and Tiny Jesus, who I found along the way. That's all in there. On the other side is where I normally would keep my snacks. So I had snacks and my headlamps in here. I've got the Night Core. It's the new version. I guess it's the Classic 20 or the 20 Classic. It's kind of like the old 25, which I also happen to have in the pocket. Very similar lights, very good lamps. I was able to hike all night in one case using it. It'll go for days and days without charging. The Night Core headlamps are really good. Highly recommend those. And what else do I have on the outside? My tags. I got my Summit tag from last year in September, Summit tag from this year, and my 24 and my 25 through hike tags. And then I got from a guy at Dahlgren Campground this little Appalachian Trail wooden pendant in Maryland, 2025 Maryland. I liked it. I thought I'd carry that all the way to Katahdin, which I did, and I'll probably leave that on the pack. It's nice. Inside the pack, food bag. We'll go in that in a little bit. Utility bags, I'll open those in a little bit. I've got a hoodie. What's this? A Bergen hoodie. These are made in New Hampshire. When I was on Mount Moosilauke, who was up there? Mailman was up there saying, hey, if you like this hoodie, which I did, I addressed him. I said, hey, what's that thing you're wearing? And he said, oh, this is a hoodie. They're made right down in town. So when I got down in town, I actually went out of my way to visit the store where they make these. Super awesome hoodie. Highly recommend the Bergen gear. I liked it. Hyperlight mid-1 tent. When you get north and you get into tent platforms and smaller tent sites, the mid-1 worked out perfectly from Hyperlight in that situation. Easy to set up with one pole and limited staking options. My 2-person tent, Gray J would carry that in when necessary. We'd sleep both in it, and then that would go away with her. So mid-1 made it all the way. Let's see, the Montbell 1000 Puffy, still carrying that. That made it all the way. Don't give away your Puffy. towards the middle of the hike, you're gonna need it when you get up in altitude. You get some chilly days. It's always nice to have a warm puffy when you need it. Poop kit, that made it. This little thing I probably won't carry anymore. It has the patch kit for my pad and some matches and some other stuff that I never opened this the whole trip. Mitten covers. These are from Hightail Designs. They're Dyneema mitten covers. I used these a few times. I did not carry the mittens all the way. I sent my gloves and mittens home early in the hike, but I kept these covers in case I needed to keep my hands warmer and drier. I figured I could put a spare pair of socks on my hands and use the mitten covers. I did not do that. I did wear the mitten covers once though. REI rain pants. They're a little heavy, but they work. In the rain, I had a little different technique. I would not wear these pants in the rain. I would just wear my underwear and the rain pants over it. So if they did sweat out, wet through, do whatever, back sweat dripped into my thing, I'm only getting my underwear wet, and I have a spare pair of underwear, dry set, and those are very warm. So that was my technique for keeping my stuff dry, was to not wear anything. And then the top side, I got the Mont Bell. I think it's a Versalite rain jacket. Very happy with this jacket. It has huge pit zips, all kinds of zippers to open it up. It does breathe well when it is zipper closed. And like any jacket, it will eventually wet out, but it does its job keeping you dry enough. I did keep the Nylafume bag liner. Not necessary with this pack. I just vacuumed out the leaves from the bottom. Bone dry inside the pack, completely bone dry, even after rain. The pack liner wasn't necessary for me. I'll probably replace it with one of the Hyperlite pods, just for a little better organization. Let's see, what else do I have? A Alpha Direct 60. This one's made by Squawk Mountain Company. Really enjoyed the Alpha 60 hoodie. Probably my most worn piece of, I don't know what you call it, outerwear. Sometimes I'd wear it sleeping, I'd wear it at camp in the morning, and then start hiking with it and peel it off pretty soon after. If I had to keep this over the Virgin, I'd probably keep this over it. I layer this when it gets cold or windy with a wind jacket. I'm still using, after trying to find a replacement, I'm still using this REI thing. It never really wore out, but it is super breathy, it breathes well, and very light. Yeah, right. I think the Houdini is probably closest to this, but it didn't have as many pockets as this had. When this does get replaced, the Houdini is probably what I'll end up replacing it with. All right, what else is in here? Oh, my sleep stuff. So in here, I've got the Aeros pillow. This is the one where one side is down and the other side is not. It's the Sea to Summit pillow. Really like the pillow. I'd continue to use it. It stayed with me the whole way. I have a older Thermarest Neo Air. This is a women's, it's like a medium length mummy shaped one. It has a little higher R value than the regular pad, and it's a little smaller. So the weight was lower it was warmer without adding extra weight. This one never sprung a leak. My winter pad did spring a leak, as well as my other summer pad. Tried to get them patched at Trail Days. They tried, it didn't really work. I'll probably send them back to Thermarest. This one did go the whole distance though. What else is in here? I think I have, oh, my hat. It's a Black Rock Gear wool hoodie. Black Rock Gear is no longer in business, but I love their gear. Usually slept in this if it got cold, if I wasn't already wearing the squawk. And then this is the air sac to help organize it and to blow up the pad when needed. However, I did have a Pad Pal battery powered thing to blow it up, which did last the whole time. This is a Enlightened Equipment 40-degree down quilt. I think it's a regular wide with the 900 fill. I would highly recommend this. Super light, super warm. Got an extra pair of Injinji socks. All right, Injinji socks. I love Injinji socks. I did not blister. I had no blisters for the whole hike, and I'll attribute most of that to the socks. My shoes were somewhere. I don't know where they went. But I was wearing, the Ultra Lone Peaks, various versions of the Ultra Lone Peak shoes. My feet are comfortable in those, and I like to hike in them. Paired with the Injinji socks, they just rocked for me. Downside to the Injinji socks is they don't wear very well. The bottoms kind of disintegrate after a while, and on my left foot, no matter what I did with my toenail, my left foot, I must lift my toe or something, the top of the toe would wear through, so I'd get a hole that would eventually propagate and my big toe would poke through. I replaced the Injinji socks with my shoes, and my shoes I replaced about every 300 miles. So I went through 8 pairs of shoes, and each time I changed the shoes, I would get a fresh pair of Injinji socks to go with it. So I ended up going through many pair of Injinji socks, all of which have pretty much worn out. So they do their job, but they do not last. So if you're going to do Injinji on a through hike, you're going to need a lot of them. And they're not cheap. They're like 25 bucks a pair. What else do I have in here? Spare underwear, spare one of these shirts, and an extra pair of socks. So carrying with me, I had 3 pair of socks almost all the time. I had an extra pair of Injinjis and then a lighter weight pair of, I think they're creepers, that I would sleep in on and off. The Injinjis would not stink. The wool component and whatever else they're made of was pretty odor resistant, whereas anything else, synthetic or even the creepers, which are merino wool, they all would stink within a day and a half on my feet. So I gave up on them and just kept the Injinjis. And guess what? That's all that's in my pack. That's the stuff that made it all the way. Stuff that I kicked out, the Western Mountaineering 10-degree bag, that went away as soon as it wasn't cold anymore. Not too far north of Damascus, I think I switched that out. So probably early April when that went away. I don't know exactly, but it was well into Virginia. I kept it for a long time. Poles broke. Lots of pairs of socks went away. What else went away? Not a whole lot. I'll think of it later. Let's get into the smalls here. Tent stakes. I've got a Hilltop Packs. Love Hilltop Packs. Got their steak bag. Also have the Hilltop Packs food bag and the Hilltop Packs, the rock throwing sack system to hang it up in a tree. All of the Hilltop Packs gear performed very well. I would highly recommend that. I did not have to replace any of it. I'm a steak collector, so this is more steaks than I started with. I find them along the way, and if I like them, I just keep them. I got some of these 3-pronged stakes. Ones that I started with that I like though are, I think these are the 7-inch ones from Tube Steak. These I liked. Carry a shepherd's hook. Let's see, more tube stakes. I carried 4 tube stakes in there. Where's the 4th one? Oh, I'm down to 3 because I broke one. And then things I found, these, I think they're the older DAC stakes. I've got a couple DACs. Got a needle stake from MSR that I found, one of my favorite stakes. Let's see, a couple of these big Agnes stakes. I don't really like these. They don't hold very well and they're kind of short. So I have them because I found them, but I would not carry the big Agnes stakes. The MSR carbon cores, like these. I carry a pair of these. They're probably my lightest stakes. They weigh almost nothing. They're pretty strong. Don't beat them with rocks, they'll break. But other than that, they work pretty good. And another DAC. And then I've got what is this? This is an aluminum tube for splicing tent poles. I don't need this in my setup. I found it along the way. I figured I'd just throw it in there. I'll chuck it in my gearbox. And then this is a pole jack, which I don't need with the poles that I'm using, but with certain tents, if you need a taller pole, you just stick it on the bottom to make the pole taller. And then my secret weapon for platforms in here are, I got a little bag of 8 eyes, metal screw eyes, tiny weeny. I don't know if you can see them, but I use those when necessary on the tent platforms to secure the tent. So that is my stakes. The electronic gear, kept all in this bag. Use this every night. I think this is a, I don't know who made this. I think Hyperlight made this one. Reading glasses. I've got various cordage for phones and recharging things. Got a cheap pair of Amazon earbuds for editing videos, listening to the phone. Spare lighter. One of these little Swiss Army knives. And a teeny adapter to go from USB-C to older USB for the Nightcore headlamp. And then also in here is my Pad Pal pad pump. It made the whole entire through hike. I used it almost every day to blow the pad up. Super cool piece of gear. It only weighs 9 grams and it would plug into my my normal battery. So that was in there. I did have, they're not in here. They must be in this one then. I have my batteries. I've got the Nightcore, the 10,000 milliamp hour battery. This is the older version. It's got an A and a C port. It worked really well for me. It's still got charge in it. And then that one I would pair with, this is an Anker 12,000. This thing, when paired with the Anker brick, I think it's a 60 watt brick, it charges in under an hour. It's a fast charge system, and it also is a high current battery, so it charges my phone pretty quickly along with other gear. If I had to carry one battery, it would probably be just this one. It's fast and it works really well. A little heavier than the Nightcore, but the speed of charging I think is super convenient. Because I did YouTubing and uploading while on trail, I carried both batteries. And then a couple times I carried another, what did I have, an Anchor 20,000 supplemental battery, which I didn't really need, so it was extra weight that I just shared with other people. What else is in here? Compass thermometer, the rock throwing sack, my Hyperlight wallet, a roll of Leukotape. Didn't really need this a whole lot. This one's kind of old, but thankfully my feet held up well. I taped a hot spot once when it rained for like 3 days in a row, and that wasn't even necessary. Some extra reflective line that I use to tie out the tent in precarious situations. Another piece of skinny line, a little carabiner on it that I use to help configure the tent. I would also use that to hang my pack. I had a Apex Giant Hilltop Pack / Apex Giant. I had one of their S hooks for hanging the backpack and things up inside the shelters, and I inadvertently left it in one of the shelters, so I lost that partway through the hike, which I really liked, so I got to get another one of those. That little setup I used to hang the pack in the shelters. Bug net. Believe it or not, I did not use the bug net. Despite horrible mosquitoes in, where was I? New Jersey, between the bug spray and the other hat with the flap on the back, this really wasn't necessary, and I must have missed fly season. So I carried it, didn't need it. I would still recommend carrying that though. When you need it, you gotta have it. A gallon Ziploc bag, my little AT passport book where I got stamps from different hostels and places of interest, as well as some stickers for my channel and others that I collected along the way. I do carry up in the Northeast paper maps. This is the Maine paper map. When I was in New Hampshire, I carried the New Hampshire paper maps. What's nice about the paper maps is they show you all the trails. So if you need to hike somewhere else that's not in the Far Out app, not a Blue Blaze, not a side trail to a parking lot, if you just need to hike away, alternate route, or you get lost, all the trails are on these maps, so you can navigate pretty well and find an alternate extraction point. Did use that a couple times. When Gray J came to get us, we used a couple alternate trails to get to parking areas that were not on Far Out. More stickers. Extra bags. What was this one? Oh, this was aqua tabs. I carried, in case of emergency, some aqua tabs, a couple sandwich bags, name and address in case I'm found non-responsive. And then these I didn't carry with me except right at the end. I had 3 AA batteries that I used for some fairy lights that I removed them from the pack, but I went and supported Tara Dower's Long Trail fastest known time attempt. Congratulations on accomplishing that. Use these for the fairy lights at the end, which is kind of fun. And then this is all kept. This I'll probably replace. This is a Z-Packs zipper bag. I used it as the brain on my other pack. Brain wasn't necessary with this pack, but I didn't want to reconfigure, so I just left all this stuff in my little brain bag. I will probably find something lighter for this. So that's everything that was there. Okay, what's in my food bag? We've got a super queasy plastic fork. That's all I needed for eating ramen or poking other things. It just weighs a couple grams. Didn't feel the need to carry a titanium spork or anything like that. So plastic fork. The, what do you call it? bamboo spoon, 8-gram spoon. It made it the whole way. I love this spoon. Full length toothbrush, so I don't have to put my fingers in my mouth. Toothbrush made it the whole way. Aquamira drops. I did use a lot of Aquamira drops. My water bottles are both dirty and clean. When I collect water, generally I'll collect water directly into my water bottles and then use Aquamira drops to sanitize the water. If the water is a little cloudy or maybe a little sus, I will filter the water before putting it in my bottles, and I will also use Aquamira drops. In some cases, when I know my bottles were previously sanitized, I'll just filter directly into the bottles, but usually I'm using the drops. Sometimes I would go drops only, sometimes I would go filter only. Fuel can, hand sanitizer, Body Glide. I didn't think I was going to need Body Glide. And what I found is in the really long rainy stretches, when I was wet for long periods of time, or when it was 95 degrees with 100% humidity and I sweat everything out, the leg cuffs of my underwear would just chafe me like crazy. So I did find this was necessary in some cases. Didn't use it a lot, but there was a 2-week period where Gray J had to save the day and go and get it. My cook pot, I kept my winter setup the whole way. So this is the Sterno Inferno modified cook kit. I've got that. And the adapter plate from Bad Cat Gear that goes on the heat exchanger pot. So that was my system. I was able to do like 4 or 5 gram boils with that, super efficient on the gas. So I didn't find I needed lots of gas on the trip. I didn't track it, but I wasn't buying it every week or every 2 weeks. I could go like 2-3 weeks on a can without any problem. My breakfasts were cold and my lunches were cold. Dinners, I would probably boil 3 cups of water. I would do a couple 100 milliliters for mac and cheese, and then I would do another couple 100 milliliters for whatever meal I was eating that needed to be rehydrated, and then I would do quite a bit more for mashed potatoes. So there's a 3-part boil. I do 3 boils, and that seemed to work well for me. The GSI cup, love this cup. I would rehydrate all my food in this. I'll demonstrate with candy, but I didn't rehydrate my candy. I throw my food in the cup and basically peel the thing down like that, and then I would rehydrate right in this. That worked super well. And I found I didn't need to clean up anything afterwards. I create a lot of plastic bag garbage. Some people don't like to eat out of the plastic bags. I get that. This also has a measuring cup on it, which is kind of nice. I put it all in there, stick the top on, let it rehydrate, and eat out of that. Let's see, Element drink mix. Keep your electrolytes up. I would use that. Soap, very important to actually wash your hands or other stuff. Soap is the only way to kill many viruses like norovirus. Dental floss, toothpaste. The toothpaste I repackaged on Amazon. You can get these little tiny squeeze things. They're smaller and lighter than the trial size toothpaste, so I ended up repackaging all my toothpaste into those. Chapstick sunscreen. Let's see, Nun tablets. Deodorant. there's really no reason to stink that bad on the trail. Little half stick of deodorant, doesn't weigh a whole lot, and your friends will thank you for it. And then also, you know, when you get into town or to a hostel or to a good source of water that's not directly in the drinking water, you can get a gallon baggie, wash your stuff in a gallon baggie, dry it out and dump the water away from the water source. If you keep your shirt clean and your armpits clean, and generally you won't stink much. And then I had a stick of sunscreen. This is mineral-based sunscreen. Put it on my face, put it on my arms. I did use it as body glide for a while. It kind of works. And then I had another fuel can in there from somebody else. But yeah, that is what I ended with. If you have any questions about my gear or things you did or didn't see or suggestions, put them down in the comments. Would love to hear from you. Yeah, so right now, done hiking for a little while, gonna let my feet rest, and I've got under 700 miles to go on the section hike. So what I'll end up doing is when the weather cools down a little bit, I may reinsert up in Massachusetts, get that knocked out, and maybe in the fall do a Smokies run to get that knocked out, and work from there. Thanks for following along. I enjoyed all your comments. It was awesome hearing from you along the way. Very encouraging, kept my spirits up. So yeah, here it is, final gear list. And this is probably the stuff I'll just keep in my pack. So I'm ready to grab and go.